Hi team, how are you going? Sorry I'm a little late today. I got a little bit caught up in a coaching call that I was on and it went a bit late. But anyway, I'm here now. So how are things? What are we? Day 12. Exciting. Just a few days to go and this challenge has been, I think, very challenging this time for all of us for lots of reasons. Just trying to get lots of stuff done and juggling lots of balls and etc. etc. But you're sticking to it, and that's what's important, that you just stick to it so that you can get down the slippery road to the 14th day and hopefully have created a bunch of marketing assets that can be used to promote the blog post that you did last week. So very proud of the work you're all doing. I saw Frankie put something in the Facebook group saying the work that she'd been doing so great in the last few days. And I know that Gavin has been doing some, and there was someone else who was doing some as well, who was getting some stuff done. So we would actually love to see it, I think it was Darlene. We would love to see it in the Facebook group as well, if you can. That would be awesome. I'll try and find some time today to put some of mine up so you can have a look. And we can all, get a little bit of inspiration from other people's work. That would be really good. Obviously, no one's having too much trouble. Maybe you're all off in Fiverr trying to get someone else to do it for you, which will take a little bit more time, because it's one of the reasons a lot of people don't outsource things, is because they think, well, by the time I explain to someone how to do what I want or what I actually want, I may as well have done it myself. And that may be true for the first time, even the second time. But if you become the kind of business person that you need to be in order to make this thing work, you need to start creating basically frameworks for everything that you're doing. So if you are finding that you're outsourcing images, for example, over and over again, then what you need to do is write up exactly what it is you do, the strategies you go through in very simple steps. And then you can use that. The next time you need to do it, you can then take it to someone on Fiverr or somewhere else where you've outsourced someone who's working with you. And you can say, this is what I do. And here's exactly what I do. You just plug in the specifics for this event or this image you're trying to create or this blog post or whatever. You just plug in the specifics. So if you find you're doing something over and over again that you probably is not the best use of your time in growing your business, then you need to start creating strategies for you to create these frameworks that you can pass on to someone else and get them to do it. A couple of my friends who have very successful businesses, they even have their own what they call a work wiki, which is, it's just like your wikis that you have online, where you can go and find out information about lots of stuff and how to do things. But then as they are finding that they're doing new tasks and they're being repeated, whether they're doing them or their staff actually, every time they do a new task, they have to write up like the operating manual for that task, and they have to operating procedures. And then that gets fed into this, what they call a work wiki. And so anyone who then comes into the business in any future date will be able to say, if they know that they have to put an image up, they'll know exactly how this business wants those images put up, and how to get them created, what the passwords are, what kind of tags they need to use, what kind of description they need to put on it. So they've got all of that they can tap into, and then you have a consistency through the whole business. Now, I know that's probably all just a little bit too much for you at the moment, or maybe you are at a stage where that's useful, but just think about it as something that can be down the track you could be moving towards, even on a smaller scale, where you're just writing up the sort of things that you do on a daily basis that you don't have to be involved in necessarily, that you could give to someone else later, like the images. And even perhaps, as we talked about, the blog posts themselves. It is possible to find or locate somebody else who's really good at writing up copy or writing things like blog posts and articles, like ghostwriter, like we have a few of them in the group actually. So it is possible to develop a relationship with one too, and sort of bring them on board, where the task that you get them to do once a month is to write a blog post, and you may have done a whole bunch of research and know ahead of time what you want them to write, say, for the next 6 months, and you can give them a list and say, I need these written, and they need to be a minimum of 1,500 words, and da-da-da-da. They can go off and write it, and then once you get that back, you can decide how you're going to create the images and things to go with it. Or you could then find someone else who's really good at that side of things, and you can have a process where the written thing is passed on to the person who's going to make it pretty, perhaps create images for it and videos and other things that go around it. So you can get a whole process going. You just have to think about it first, write it down, and get the people to do it, and work out where, if at all, you even need to be involved, apart from the initial, perhaps, of working out exactly what it is you want people to write about or to put up in your blog post. So that's big picture down the track, perhaps, but it's sometimes a really good idea to know the possibilities going forward in your business, and that growing is going to mean evolving into some of those things, especially unless your business is all about you writing. You will need to work out how you can evolve it a little bit so that you can do other things in your business too. But anyway, that's certainly up for discussion, something we can discuss. Now, so I mentioned Fiverr. The other thing I know I mentioned at Day 12 last time was a little bit about SEO. So I'm not going to give you like a big thing, because we did talk about SEO a little bit on one of the other videos in this challenge, but about tracking links. So when you use links like Bitly, bit.ly.com, it used to be bit.ly, but it's not anymore. I think it's bit.ly.com. Either way, you'll find it. I'll put a link to this video near this video as well. So it's a website where you can create your own short links. So often a link to a blog post is, your website name / then whatever the name of the blog post is, and it can get quite long. So what we want to do is create some smaller links, and they're also then trackable. So I would like you to think about go into Bitly, create an account, and start using things like that, because then you can track how many people easily. I mean, you can use Google Analytics and things like that, but this gives you the ability to even track what you're doing, if that makes sense. So that if you put this particular link out only on Facebook, so you could go in and get the link created, and you have the ability to change the name of it, that was something that happened in the last challenge. People didn't realize. So initially Bitly will give you a random link, which is short, but it's sort of bit.ly.com / couple of characters or whatever. But what you can actually change those couple of characters to something that means something to you if you want. But the only caveat there is they has to be available. So all of the obvious things are obviously already gone because people are using them. But you can change that. But you can also say in Bitly what this particular link has been created for. So the link may always go to that blog post, okay? But when you go into Bitly, you can create a whole bunch of links that go to the same address. But inside Bitly, you can say, this particular link I'm going to put on my meme, for example, will be the link that is around my meme. This one I'm going to use on the video that I've done, and this one I'm going to use on the infographic. So when you go into Bitly, although everybody who clicks on those links ended up on the same page, i.e. your blog post, you will be able to see very quickly whether they came from the meme work you did, whether they came from the video, or whether they came from the infographic. Now, I hope you can understand the power of that, because that actually means you'll know what works best for your audience at the moment. So over time, you'll be able to see do they click mostly on infographics, my audience? Do they click mostly on video? And over time, you can even decide, actually, video doesn't work with my group. Unlikely. Video works with everyone, but maybe they don't like infographics, for example, or slideshows. I don't know. But you'll be able to see which one's working, which one's not. Now, that is a clever business person, somebody who instigates those kind of strategies. Okay, I hope you understand that. It's really not that hard to instigate. I don't know if you want me to create a video on how to use Bitly like that. You've also got the Google keyword shortener. If you Google it, you will be able to do the same. But they have a thing called, which I've been using for a couple of clients. So the it's the Google campaign URL creator or something like that, where you can actually type what URL you want people to go to, and then you type in They're different things, like it might be Facebook, it might be in February, it might be, you can decide what else goes in there. It creates a funny, really long link. You take that long link, you put it in, well, I suppose you could put it in Bitly, but in this instance, we put it into Google. So probably need to put it into the Google shortener, which is similar to Bitly. And it then gives you a tiny little Google link, but it takes all of that other stuff that you put into the campaign. And then later on, if you want to, you can do the same thing and get information about the people who actually used that link. And you'll know that they came, it was the Facebook campaign you did, or it was the whatever stuff that you set up. So it's kind of similar, but gives you that sort of information. Now, if you're just using Google Analytics, you can't get quite as granular inside the social media statistics as you might like. But this way, say if you use the Bitly thing I was talking about a minute ago, or even the Google campaign one, then you can get a lot more granular about whether this particular action you're taking, i.e. this particular image that you've created using a meme or a quote or an infographic or whatever, you can actually see what effect that's happening and how it's working. That's very powerful. I hope that gets you a little bit excited, because it should do. All right, let me know if you want any more information about that. We're starting to get a little bit more high end, but as a business person, you do want to know what you're doing is working, more than just a gut feeling, or more than just, more people have gone to my website. Yay. I hope that was because I did blah, blah, blah. But maybe you did 6 things in that day, but it was actually something you did 3 days ago. And that's why people ended up there. You don't really know unless you're tracking it. And this is one way you can actually track it, especially what we're talking about now, which is creating your marketing assets and using them to promote a blog post. This is one way that you can track it to quite a granular level to see whether, by giving them individual links, you'll be able to see whether it was this particular image or that particular video that got most people to click and end up on your website. So I hope that has helped. Please let me know. I'd love some thumbs up when you watch this in the replay. As I'm a bit late, I don't have anybody to talk to, but that's fine. Love some comments on the video if you want any more information on this. I do hope it's helping you. I'm going to go because I've got to go and work on some more things now. And I'll throw up some of the things that I've been working on for promoting my blog post as well. So very proud of you all, getting to the end of yet another challenge. So I hope it has been really helpful for you and your business, and that you're understanding what it takes in order to build this foundation for your business to sit on. All right. Love you all. Ciao.